I'm Amy, and if I have something to say about me, it's that I've been blessed with great beauty my whole life. People may be thinking that I could get all cocky about it, but the truth is, I was raised with the saying, if you're good at something, be humble about it. Many guys try to ask me for a date, but not too many will pass that test. First, I should know them pretty well to see if they are my type, and then we can go for a soda, or maybe two. This is my freshman year in college, and I'm excited to know how the college girl dynamic works here. I was assigned to share a room, meaning that I will have a roomie. My friends told me that I have two options. Number one, the girl and I will be good friends, or number two, we will only have a shared space, and that's it. In either of these cases, I am ready to take on whatever happens. I was making my space in the dorm while expecting her, and I heard a knock at the door. When I opened it, I was in absolute shock. Tall, redhead, freckled girl appears in front of the door, with her hands together in a timid position. If you had taken away her glasses and her braids, she could have easily been my twin sister, and I think she noticed that too. I asked for her name, and she quietly said Stacy after a few seconds of awkward silence. I said I could help her unpack her luggage, and she answered with a nervous yes. I started to wonder if this was a mono-worded girl from the countryside. I decided to start a conversation. After all, this is her freshman year too. And considering her mannerisms, this can be a rough time for her. I went for the first option, gaining my first friend in college. Her name, as she said before, was Stacy. She came from a rural place where half the population are cows. This was her first time in her life where she was surrounded by tons of people, and it can be a bit overwhelming for a small town gal. Like in those teen pop movies where the ugly girl becomes the most popular one after some changes to their looks, I decided I would give her a makeover. Lucky for her, I brought my entire makeup station. I had a new victim. She was reluctant at first, but after the first transformation, we were both impressed by how cute she was and how identical we looked. She saw herself in the mirror and started to cry. Stacy told me that she felt like a new person, and that no one has ever done anything like that for her. I said that I wasn't like those popular mean girls, and that life can be comfortable with just a smile. This had an impact on her, as she gave me a huge hug. Nothing like the girl from before. Maybe this was the change for a very positive difference in someone else's life, and being part of it made me feel so wholesome. In time, we got closer and closer, forming one of the most recognizable friendships on campus. We had this game that whenever we met new people, we pretended to be sisters. It was an ongoing joke between us. I was happy to see the fearful girl gaining more confidence and making new friends along the way. As the school year went on, these coincidences we shared began to bother me, as we started becoming more and more the same in every way. We were slowly transforming into the same person. Still, there were a few things I perceived as odd, as we were in the same clubs, attracted to the same guys, and knew the same circle of friends. I decided to believe that these were happy coincidences, but it's strange for this to happen with a person that looks exactly like you. After a few months, I started becoming annoyed at some of her behaviors, like appearing from nowhere when I was talking to someone, or asking me where I was about to go with a friend. She could be in the middle of class and all of a sudden show up in our dorm just to be with me. I'm not exaggerating, this happened a lot. One day, I decided to confront her, saying that I will require some space alone, since one of my uncles died and I was very close to him. The problem is that she recognized this was a lie, since she was ahead of my Facebook feeds, and never knew about an uncle passing away. Stacy was upset that I lied to her, and that she was like a sister to me, and that she should know everything. I was a little concerned about this, and an ugly thought appeared in my head. What if Stacy likes me in a more romantic way? Well, not passionate, since this was like being stalked in my own bedroom. But she was obsessed with me, infatuated with my whole life, and I didn't want that kind of relationship. Going on the safest path, I asked for a dorm change, alleging personal reasons, not wanting to explain a thing to Stacy. But when I arrived in the new room, her stuff was already there. This started to freak me out. This was no longer okay. "But Amy," she said, "why are you separating us? I thought we were like sisters." The situation was getting offhand, and I started to ignore her as much as possible and distancing myself. If she was in the same room, I left. If she commented on something in my social media, I erased the post. If she said something about me, I denied it. I wanted to believe that she got my message because her response and the way she talked to me started to become colder. There were times when she entered the room and I would say hi, and she completely ignored me and slipped right into bed. I had to remember that she was a country girl and social interaction wasn't exactly her thing. So maybe I should have taught her that people need their space from time to time. This made me feel a little ashamed, and I wanted to apologize. These apologies were soon forgotten when I started to hear some bad rumors about me. I never did a thing and always kept to myself. My reputation was getting worse around campus, and this was just the beginning. Sleeping with random guys, causing drama with other students, insulting the professors, and the list goes on. All things that I was accused of doing but never did was actually her. "Hey Stacy, I started to notice that you've been doing some things with my name and my reputation, and I want you to stop." "Sorry, Amy, but you must be mistaking me for someone else. I didn't do those awful things. Maybe it was you," she said with a sinful grin. "Come with me. I have something to show you that will explain everything." Her words were like enigmas for me, and like a fool, I followed her to a secluded part of campus, in a wooded area behind the dorms. In my mind, I thought she was going to apologize to me, finally saying that this was all because of her lonely childhood and that I was like a sister she never had. As we walked deeper into the woods, it was growing dark, and the lights from the building were fading away. She finally stopped and turned to face me, but I was distracted for a second by the eerie silence. I couldn't say that I was scared, but deep inside me, I knew that I didn't want to be there. I was the victim here, and she recognized it. Suddenly, I heard footsteps coming from behind me, and the last thing I saw was... I'm Stacy, and if I have something to say about me, it's that I've been blessed with great beauty my whole life, and many may be thinking that I could get all cocky about it. But the truth is that I was raised with the saying, if you're not good at something, ask someone else how to do it, and then own it. I used to have a sister, but she disappeared a long time ago. She taught me about life, and we loved each other so much. She made me a better person, and until this very day, I remember her with joy and happiness. Her name was Amy.